Signs are about communication. Once you start to decode these things, you can understand a city much better. Even old signs still have something that they can communicate to us. It's utilities, sewers for the most part. My day-to-day job involves working with letters. You know, it kind of sounds hokey, but it's a way for me to kind of touch history. This is probably one of my favorite signs in this area. It's probably from the 40s. The neon's gone, unfortunately. All of the letters had kind of a neon line going through. I mean, neon is a glass tube. In order to fit a glass tube in a space, they're bending the glass with heat. And the way that the M and the A is shaped is called gaslight lettering, which is very typical of 1940s. It's shaped that way to house neon better. One of the most common things you'll find in cities is names on buildings. This tradition of naming a building, I think, comes from England. It's much more attractive to say you're going to the Roanoke or you're staying at the Ritz rather than 73, something. And this lettering is a mixture of sans serif and serifs kind of mixed in, which you often find on buildings. Very typical of kind of early 20th century lettering. This is another building with a name. It's also interesting that they have a period, which was very common back in the 19th century, to give it a little bit more of a stately, sort of like the grammar of the time almost. Like the New York Times used to have a period at the end of New York Times for a long, long time. Wall Street Journal still has a period. It's the only one that I'm aware of that has a period in its name on a building. This is an old drugstore. The sign we're looking at has been restored to look almost identical. A little bit Art Deco. In the G, you can tell like the outside is round and the inside is sort of straight down, and that's kind of like a very Art Deco thing, which probably puts the sign kind of into that like 1940s, 1930s period. Cities are full of signs, and I see letters everywhere when I walk around, so it's something that I'm always drawn to, and it's always something that I'm always going to notice. Can I try that again, or?
I thought that was great.
Okay, cool.